Hi, my name is Fallout, and here's what your Monster Hunter Wilds weapon says about you. Greatsword. Hey, Greatsword mains, good news! I created a custom design controller just for you. I really hope you like it, hope it's not too complex. Now, I'm a little bit torn here, and not just because my Greatsword main wife is standing behind me as I record this with a wiffle ball bat, but because I want to give you a rough time about your silly all-or-nothing one-trick pony DPS weapon, but at the same time, we also shouldn't waste time arguing with each other, because if we do, who's gonna make fun of the longsword mains? Kidding aside, it is actually nice having greatsword mains on the team because you know they're putting up big ass damage numbers all day. How do you know? Don't worry, you'll know because they'll tell you. Make number go big is after all their favorite game to play, and they play to win. And now that they have fun defensive tech options like power clashing, it's usually great having greatsworders around, but God help you if a monster goes to sleep during a hunt and you accidentally damage it with something to wake it up before the greatsword user gets the opportunity to slam it over the head with the force of 1,000 H-bombs. They'll give you an earful like you just accidentally stepped on a homeless puppy's tail. Sword and shield. At the risk of upsetting my lord and savior Joe Cat, I feel like maining sword and shield is the Monster Hunter equivalent of telling people that your favorite flavor of ice cream is vanilla. In Mario Party, you play Mario. When you order pizza, you only ever order plain cheese. Are any of these things bad? No, of course not. But good lord, add a little spice to your life. At the very least, there's nothing that you're absolutely terrible at, but as one of the most beginner-friendly weapons in the game, you're essentially rated least likely to receive any kind of attention from Daddy Capcom. You're the middle child of the entire weapon roster. Deep down, you know it's true, but you're strangely okay with it. But hey, at least I don't have to sheath for item spam, you tell yourself. Dual blades. I say this with all the love in my heart. You are one twitchy, hyperactive SOB and all your friends know it. You're probably the type of guy who owned a fidget spinner or 12, and you do weird stuff with your fingers when you're bored, maybe even some flashy pen spinning moves. Some people's idea of torture is waterboarding, or some kind of stuff you'd see in a Liam Neeson movie. Your idea of torture is someone forcing you at gunpoint to use the greatsword, where your movement is so clunky and slow you'd collapse out of your gaming chair into a coma before the hunt was over. You're kind of like that kid who, when they play a fighting game for the first time, just decides they're gonna mash all the buttons instead of learning any combos. I will admit though, your weapon, while kinda silly, is flashy as hell and cool to watch. Have fun out there, dual blade guy, and remember to take it easy on the caffeine. Hammer. You looked around at all the other weapon options on the rack with their various ammo types, complex mechanics, and gauges, and you said, fuck that. I just want to swing a big mallet around. And you know what? I get it. I'd like to tell you that your weapon is outperformed on paper by almost every other weapon, but that would be like trying to talk sense into a bowling ball. Why bother? At the end of the day, all it wants to do is smash down pins, and all you want to do is hit angry dinosaurs in the head with a big club. It's who you are. It's what you do. Deep down, you know that hammer definitely is not the best, but then again, you don't really care. Every time a monster comes crashing down to the pavement because you gave it a mild concussion, it sends shivers down your spine, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Hunting horn. Look, I'm goofing around a lot right now, but let me actually speak from the heart for just 1 minute. The vast majority of hunting mains are truly, actually based. And yeah, I know that some players out there are gonna turn up their nose at that kind of statement. It's not fun. I don't like to play support. The DPS isn't optimal. Speedrunners don't use it. I don't care about none of that shit. You know who the hunting horn users are? The guy who shows up to the party with an entire cooler filled with beer without you asking him to bring anything. The friend who hears you are feeling under the weather and sends you homemade chicken noodle soup. The dude who hears you say you think the chick at the bar is cute, so he goes over and talks you up for 10 minutes. Hunting horn mains are awesome. Are they crazy, flashy, and sexy? No, not really, but I'm always happy to have them around because it's gonna be the most relaxed fight I'll ever have in my life, because no matter how many times the monster tries to stuff my butt into a locker, if there's a horn main on the team, I'll be fully healed before I can say abracadabra. Thank you, hunting horn mains, for letting me relax and straight up have more fun in the hunt. I will listen to you play the song of your people all day. Bow. Let me guess. Whenever you played Skyrim, you were an awesome stealth archer, thwacking dumb NPCs in the face from miles away, all while giggling to yourself like a middle schooler shooting spitballs. Old habits die hard, I guess. All kidding aside, I do find the bow to be a fun combat loop, and I do feel like the aesthetic of a bow and arrow fits really well into the vibe of Monster Hunter, unlike some other ranged weapons I could mention. And even though as a melee weapon user, I often get slightly miffed at those who choose to fight at range and relatively away from point-blank combat, I think bow mains are pretty based and usually fun to have around. The flashy moves, making it rain a comical amount of arrows, and of course hitting any monster with what basically amounts to a giant explosive harpoon. But for fuck's sake though, I know that the bow is easy mode with wound breaking, but save some for the rest of the team. Some of us are using weakness exploit out here. Lance, I'd say odds are pretty good that you got really tired of getting your butt tossed around the room and you decided to go back to base camp and put on the most defensive loadout you could possibly think of. Now your hunter is built like a brick shithouse, and even though your damage output has withered away like a neglected houseplant, it doesn't matter to you, because now you can basically stand there and absorb every blow like SpongeBob tanking back shots from Flats the Flounder. Even though most other hunters out there are probably yearning for teammates rocking more DPS heavy options, I'll always get a kick out of having Lance mains on the team for the sole reason that watching them turn into a mini choo-choo train and run full steam ahead is one of the funniest things in the game. Gunlance. Somehow, I don't think there's much mystery going on here. You like explosions, plain and simple. It's not that you dislike melee combat, that's all well and good, but you probably saw a clip of someone point blanking some helpless monster right in the face with a full-powered wyvern fire blast and thought, yeah, I want to do that. Optimal DPS? Sure, some of you may care about that, but the vast majority of you just want to make things go boom. That or option B, you maybe looked up some weapon tier list from a few content creators because you wanted to know what was truly meta, noticed that many of them put Gunlance up at the top, and here you are. And hey, if that's you, it is what it is. Go do your thing. Just watch where you're aiming that wyvern fire, big guy. Don't singe my eyebrows off or we're gonna have a problem. Switch axe. I gotta be honest, almost every switch axe main I know is an absolute demon at Monster Hunter. A crazy endgame level grinder with a bunch of knowledge about the game and a ride or die, what do you need to hunt, I'm here to help mentality. Unfortunately, you're also maybe a little bit of a know-it-all. And not only that, for some reason, you're basically in non-stop recruit mode trying to get all your online homies to just please try the switch axe once. You're like that guy at a party pushing other people to just try ecstasy because you swear they'll love it. Ease up off me, switch axe guy. I'll have fun doing my thing and you go ahead and have fun trying to turn every hunt into a contest of who can get the most offsets. Charge Blade. There's a 99% chance that you're the kind of gamer that puts one thing above all else, being optimal. I'm willing to bet my life that you settled on ye old Charge Blade via one of two scenarios. You either saw a Charge Blade speedrun on YouTube and said, hell yeah, or you saw this weapon had more bells and whistles than a Swiss Army knife and immediately knew it was going to be the best way to prove to your friend group that you are truly a 500 IQ gamer capable of taming such a complex beast. In reality though, your weapon, while admittedly badass, isn't that complicated once you put in a little bit of time learning it, and we all know you, like the vast majority of other Charge Blade users, aren't really in the speedrunner level of gameplay. You just really like it when pizza cutter go burr. Sure, you probably go hard in the damage department, but you probably also go hard in the getting carded department too, because half the time you forget your weapon actually has a frickin' shield. Insect Glaive. Sadly, many Insect Glaive users are afflicted with a rare medical condition known as allergic to the floor. I kid, but yeah, you definitely played in the grass with bugs at recess, and it shows. More of an observation than an insult, of course, as Insect Glaive users I find are usually chill and interesting people to be around. Just like your little flying friend, you personally believe gravity to be kinda cringe and will always go out of your way to try and pull off some high-flying acrobatic bullshit and show off your stripper pole moves whenever you can. And look, I know most of the Glaive mains out there like to have fun, but when you're getting swatted out of the air like a fly every 5 seconds, maybe you should at least consider changing up your game plan a wee bit. And also, I know you don't want to hear this, but quit greeting wounds the second you see red appear on the monster. Yeah, we know you got those Kinsect buffs to worry about, but some of us need those too, you know. Heavy Bowgun. I'm willing to bet a sizable chunk of money that when you were first looking through all the weapons in the game, none of them made you really feel anything until you saw the Heavy Bowgun. As a matter of fact, I'd like to think that that you probably said something along the lines of, wait, you can just shoot them with a fucking gun? And from that moment on, you were hooked. If you ever played any of the Halo games, you were 100% the guy to go, I call machine gun when jumping into the Warthog. In Space Marines 2, you played the heavy. Yeah, you get the idea. Far be it from me to criticize the guy who basically wants to shoot dinosaurs with a big minigun. Lord knows I was always a fan of Turok. Just remember to tip your hat every now and then to the melee fighters who are up at the front line tanking all the aggro while you safely hold down R2 from half a mile away. Light bowgun. So, you liked the idea of your weapon going pew pew pew, but when you tried out the heavy bowgun, it felt like you were running waist deep through a field of mashed potatoes. So you went back to the drawing board, tried out the light bowgun, and here you are. I gotta be real, I feel like I barely actually know anyone who truly mains the light bowgun. You are extremely rare, like Bigfoot or a good movie starring Gal Gadot. Keep doing your thing, you silly little running gunner. Longsword. Oh boy, a longsword main in the year of our Lord 2025, huh?
Daring today, aren't we?
Look man, I know you want to deal big boy damage, but Charge Blade and Greatsword ain't that complicated. Maybe if you took a few minutes to pry yourself away from your ever-growing pile of manga that's probably dirtier than Asmongold's kitchen sink, you'd be able to learn a weapon that might lead to a new experience for you. You know, respect from other players. I'm mostly kidding, of course. Even though you're rocking the most basic, unoriginal weave magnet weapon in the entire roster, look on the bright side. Your weapon is actually disgusting on paper, and also basically Capcom's openly favorite child, so the risk factor of your precious baby getting nerfed is lower than the effort it takes to execute your ridiculous 2-button DPS combo. Got anything else to add? Let me know down in the comment section, and again, reminder, all for funsies, please remember to use whatever you like. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.